Jury selection is about to get underway in the trial of a man accused of attempting to gun down President Trump on his Florida golf course ahead of the 2024 election. 59-year-old Ryan Ruth is representing himself. So, unlike previous court appearances where he's been shackled and in prison scrubs, Ruth will be allowed to wear a suit and tie. In just over an hour, prospective jurors will begin filing in for questioning, with opening statements scheduled to begin on Thursday. Joining me now, Catherine Christian, former Manhattan Assistant DA, and MSNBC legal analyst Duncan Levin, criminal defense attorney, former Manhattan and federal prosecutor. So I'm really curious about this, Duncan. I don't know if either of you have faced this in any of the trials you've done, but how does jury selection work, and how do potential jurors generally view a defendant who's acting on his own behalf?
Well, it's tricky. I've actually been a prosecutor against defendants who have represented themselves. It's called pro se by themselves, and it's a tricky thing for the judge to navigate. They say if you represent yourself, you have a fool as a client. Well, it is in large measure true. People don't know how to navigate the system, and this is somebody who's been asking to try to ask jurors questions about their experiences and opinions about Greenland, what they think about turtles, and so the judge has to basically make sure that his constitutional rights are protected, his ability to have a fair trial is protected, but that she doesn't let the crazy two out of the box. She needs to actually hone him in a little bit and make sure that the questions are appropriate. And so I think you'll see that she'll keep a very tight control over what questions he's allowed to ask the jurors, but she has to allow him to try to make sure that the jury is fair to him and fair to the prosecution.
We're talking about Judge Aileen Cannon, who most people know the name, at least, for dismissing the Mar-a-Lago documents case. She started today saying that some of the proposed jury selection questions from Ruth were off-base, politically charged questions that have no relevance. She also previously accused him of filing court documents that have various insults and no pertinent facts. How much can Ruth test her? And is it possible that a judge can say, you're not capable of representing yourself, I'm appointing someone?
Exactly. In fact, Judge Cannon, gave 4 pages of order providing instructions to the pro se defendant of the do's and don'ts, and basically says to him in writing, if you engage in misconduct, if you start to be obstructionist, I will stop it. You will be given counsel again, and you might even be sanctioned. So she appointed standby counsel for him, meaning they stand by. So if he has questions, if he needs some advice on the law.
So they're literally in the courtroom.
They're in the courtroom. Their role is just to stand by and have, if he wants to, can ask questions. How do you phrase this question? What is the law on this? So, but he is entitled, his right to counsel, he has a right to defend himself, but he does not have a right to engage in misconduct.
All right. So, Duncan, there are going to be 3 sets of 60 jurors. What kind of questions do you imagine might be asked of them? There's a pretty high-profile case, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's actually, in a way, probably a lot of the same types of questions that you'd see in the case where Mr. Trump was on trial himself. It's do you have any kind of animus towards Mr. Trump or to members of his family? Do you have an open mind? Can you judge this evidence fairly? Those are the types of questions that the prosecutors are going to ask, the types of questions that the defendant might ask. The fact is, he's been so unhinged in some of these filings. He today or yesterday filed a motion to the court asking for strippers to be brought in. He challenged Mr. Trump to a fist fight. It's so unhinged that it's hard to know what he's going to be trying to ask these jurors about, or if he's going to use it as some opportunity to harass people. And that's really what the judge is going to have to rein in. But the prosecutors are really looking for somebody who can judge it fairly. And even this is an unusual case because Mr. Trump is the victim here. He's not the defendant. And we've seen a lot of cases where he's been the defendant. That's not the case here. And so the prosecutors are going to want to make sure that jurors are able to fairly judge the evidence where Mr. Trump is not the defendant, but a victim.
And we should say, pretty high stakes gamble. He could get, if convicted, life in prison. But Catherine, opening statements I mentioned scheduled for Thursday, assuming they get through jury selection. What will you be watching for?
Well, I'll be watching for his behavior, the behavior of this pro se defendant.
Could he potentially not make it that far, like that he would not be allowed to make an opening statement?
Well, if he engages in misconduct, if he behaves himself and is respectful, the judge has to allow him to give the opening statement as long as he's showing a sense of decorum for the proceeding. Judges hate pro se defendants. Opposing counsel hate pro se because you never know what's going to happen and you just hope for the best. He would be better off with the counsel, but it's his choice.
And from the other side, what would you expect? Pretty straightforward opening?
I think you're going to find this to be very straightforward. The evidence is pretty overwhelming against him from what's been publicly reported. The Secret Service observed him. There was a letter which shows his intent where he said he was planning to assassinate Mr. Trump. I think the evidence is very straightforward. I would expect this to be a pretty easy trial for the prosecution to make out the elements of the case. And so their challenge is really going to be navigating a case where you have a pro se defendant and anything can happen anytime. And so we'll be watching that to see what his behavior is during the trial. But I'd expect prosecutors to be pretty narrow with the evidence and just move forward like any other case.
Duncan Levin, Catherine Christian, it's great to have you both here. Appreciate it.